Hi everyone, this is Dora. I just wanted to do a little housekeeping before we get to the episode. We realized that our lines didn't include racism and sexism when they should. Unfortunately, we recorded several sessions without the correct lines, so you'll probably be hearing this message on a few episodes before we've gotten it corrected. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, enjoy the show. Alright, hi folks. Welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through the use of GM-less tabletop games where we can all take the lead. Today we're playing Kingdom by Ben Robbins. For those of you who are new to this game, here are the basics. Groups are stronger than individuals. In a kingdom, we can work together to do great things. But we may not agree what path our kingdom should take or what it should stand for. Can your vision of the kingdom work for mine? Can everybody get what they want? Because if you're part of the kingdom, it makes demands on you too. You're pressured to do what it thinks is right. The question becomes, do you change the kingdom, or does the kingdom change you? This game is about seeing what happens to the kingdom and the people in it, how the characters change the kingdom and how it changes them. As players, we all have equal authority to influence the game. It's up to each of us to push the kingdom in directions we find interesting. What will our kingdom do? What will it become? Will it burn or flourish? Will it stay true to its ideals, our ideals, or will it become some twisted shadow of our dreams? The kingdom's fate is in our hands. I'm Dora, and you can find me at HarpyDora on Twitter, and my pronouns are they, them. Playing with me today we have...
Hi, I'm Han. You can find me at Mercutios on Twitter, and I also use they, them.
And I'm Jade. You can find me on Twitter at JadeOxfordRose, and I also use they, them pronouns.
Our lines, which are things we absolutely do not want to see, are homophobia, transphobia, violence against children, sexual assault, domestic or intimate partner violence, attacks by dogs, or unwanted pregnancy. Our veils are things that we're fine with addressing, but we'll just fade to black on. Steamy situations, graphic depictions of bodily harm, and that's it. Now that we've got all that, let's get started.
All right.
Each player creates a character that they'll use to explore the fate of the kingdom. The first things that we'll do is we'll determine our role within the kingdom. There are 3 roles, which are power. You have authority over the kingdom. You decide what the kingdom does and doesn't do. Perspective. You understand the kingdom, both its merits and flaws. You can foresee the consequences of the decisions the kingdom makes. And touchstone. You reflect the desires of the people of the kingdom. Your attitudes show us what the populace wants and how they are reacting to what's happening. Let's start with Han. Who's your character, and what role will that character have?
Alright, so I am playing Kuiper Jasko. She uses she, her. And her role is power in this one. And she's basically the head communications officer for this enclave that we're building.
My character is Max Valera, also goes by Max Damage. She uses she, her pronouns. And she is the mechanic. She's sort of head of the maintenance crew. The way I've described her is she has high amounts of energy and little to no fucks to give about anything outside of her remit, and she's a perspective.
I'm going to be playing Marisol Soul Hawk. She's a bounty hunter in the station where this is taking place. I have her written down as angsty McMahon Pain but a lady. She's very broody and gruff. And she's going to be our touchstone because she's basically the quote-unquote working class on this space station.
Yeah, I suppose we should say what our kingdom is.
Yeah. So, by the way, By the way, we're playing on a space station, which is kind of like a pirate enclave / hive of scum and villainy.
Because yes.
Yes. Because what's a sci-fi story without a hive of scum and villainy floating in space?
Obviously.
Yeah. So, kind of lawless. A lot of room for grittiness if we so choose. The threats to our kingdom are, we have threats from sort of quote-unquote legal organizations. The one that we've identified is the Unified Solar Fleet, which is kind of like, you know, the main like naval force in this area. So there's always the threat that they could come in, shut us down, wipe us out. There's also the threat of infighting between the crews that are staying or currently docked with our space station. And there's always the threat of being short of supplies. Since we're a space station, we can't really produce our own stuff. It all has to be imported, and there's only so much oxygen scrubbers and water filtration systems can do.
We all came up with locations relevant to our characters. As we're talking about the kingdom, did we want to put those out and then go over more character-based stuff?
I can start if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the two locations that I came up with, which are basically where Kuiper can usually be found, I think there's probably like a main... well, first of all, just, are we thinking that this is like a bunch of ships together, or are we thinking this is like a station that's like one large, like, ship kind of deal?
I was thinking more like a space station. Maybe we're orbiting like a shitty moon or something like that. Like it used to maybe be an observation thing, like, and it got reclaimed by the pirate folk like 20 years back or something.
Cool.
And it probably has like things that have been cobbled on, like ships that have been bolted on to create expansions and that kind of thing. But
yeah, cool. Okay. So, so my two locations are, like, the main station bridge, where I'm assuming a lot of the communications equipment is housed for the larger station. And then the second location is this is actually not pronounceable by human mouths, the Joyopolis Game Hall, which is, like, a really shitty neon arcade, where... she's usually playing, probably not skee-ball, but like something adjacent.
The two locations I've flagged where you're probably solidly going to be able to find Max at any given time is the maintenance level, and that's less of a specific location and more a state of mind. No. It's sort of like a series of back corridors and ducts and back elevators and supply lifts, like anywhere like in a mall that you shouldn't be. It's all of those kinds of nooks and crannies, like lots of shortcuts and stuff like that, getting between matters. And also the docking bay, and I imagine that the maintenance crew kind of have like a little officey thing in there with like a shutter where one of them's usually propped up if crews want to come and see if they can get somebody to fix their ship. They might help you out if your money is good or you have something good to trade. But I like the notion of there being like a really shitty, not quite Lucy's The Doctor is in from Peanuts kind of vibe, but not a lot better. But just like with a lot of like tools in there, just where there's normally a member of the maintenance crew, if not Max herself, just hanging out.
Incredible.
So Saul, the two locations that she can typically found, there is a local seedy dive bar, possibly the seediest on the station, called the Monkey's Uncle. And she has a quote-unquote reserved stool there, and has probably picked many a fight with people who have tried to sit there. And the other place that she can be found would be like the stockades, because she's either throwing someone in there because she's collecting a bounty on them, or she's been thrown in there for drunk and disorderly.
Cool.
What a treasure.
Love it.
I love her already. She's just so terrible.
She's the worst.
Yes.
Okay.
So the next thing that we're supposed to determine about our characters are their wish or fear for the kingdom. And this is something that has to be sort of general to the kingdom. It's not a personal thing. So you can't say, I wish I get a promotion but what you would more likely be able to say is, I wish there is, there's more room for upward mobility in the kingdom.
All right, so Kuiper's wish is, I wish the kingdom would take on riskier jobs. We're pirates, we're in this for the cash and the glory, and there's no point in caution. Yeah.
For Max, this place is held together with spot welds, duct tape, and hope. My fear is that one of these is going to run out sooner rather than later.
Yep, that sounds about right. Saul's fear is she fears that the kingdom will collapse under the weight of people who can't see past what's right in front of their noses.
All right.
And the next thing that we determine is what's your issue? What's some personal issue that is going to affect your role in the kingdom?
Mm-hmm. So Kuiper's issue is the crimes of my past are never far behind me. I'm not 100% sure what those crimes are right now, but they are near.
I mean, there's a reason why she's wound up on, like, a pirate space station at the edge of the system, isn't there?
And also why she thinks the pirates need to do more crime than they're doing right now.
For Max, her issue is that she takes on way more shit than she should, because sleep is for the weak and stims are for people who need to get shit done.
Yeah, I love Max already. For Saul, her issue is I can't put my past to bed, and that makes it hard for me to see any kind of future, good or bad.
Aw, Saul.
She's angsty McMahon pain.
But a lady.
Yes.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the last thing that we need to determine for our characters is bonds. What are our relationships with each other? And typically this is done with the person to your left, but we have a kind of order set up, so we're doing it that way. And it can be either a friendly relationship or it can put you at odds. So, Han, I believe your bond should be with Max.
Yes. So my bond with Max is I rely on Max for upgrades / mods / other kinds of tech for the communications equipment to upkeep my quote-unquote side gigs, which are sort of on the side crime jobs in addition to, like, the big crime jobs, in exchange for some yet undefined favors or information or something.
For Max, her bond, I should say, with Sol is that Sol is a destructive force that I'm forever having to clean up after.
Yes. And for Sol's bond with Kuiper, I depend on Kuiper to give me the best information on bounties. She is integral to my livelihood. And that's it for our characters, so the next thing that we do is we get ready to play. And when we're playing Kingdom, kingdoms have crossroads, which are decisions that the kingdom has to make to go forward. So we have the crossroads, and we play scenes to kind of determine how that plays out. But not all scenes are going to necessarily have something to do with the crossroads. They can also count towards another thing called time passes, which just is sort of exactly what it says on the tin. And we also have the risk that the kingdom is going to fall into crisis. And for each of these things, we have little boxes that we can check after the end of each scene. And that'll help us work toward a resolution, either resolving the crossroads, resolving the fact that time has passed, or resolving whatever crisis we're having to deal with. And the current crossroads that we're going to start with, should the kingdom take in refugees from the Star Marlin Assembly, even though they are loathed among the population? And so what we'll do is we'll start with Han, and Han will set a scene for us to see what happens in the kingdom.
Yeah. Can we, like, define or, like, figure out who the Star Marlin Assembly are a little bit
Sure.
more?
Yeah, I was just thinking that maybe they're a band of pirates, obviously, who may have had their noses pretty badly bloodied by Unisol.
Okay.
And so they're looking for some sort of refuge while they try to lick their wounds, but unfortunately they're just a nasty group of people who have not been good about making friends. And
Okay.
our station is sort of like Space Switzerland in that respect, but there are a lot of people who would be very angry to see these people wandering around the station.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I think, let's see. The first scene, I think it's probably going to be with Sol. So it'd be Kuiper and Sol, and I think Kuiper goes to find her. Probably not in the stockades. Let's not start there. We can start at the bar. So I think Kuiper goes and, like, finds her at the bar. And yeah, is there anything else we have to do to set up the scene, or just, like,
No, I
go
think
for it?
Just say who's there and...
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I think
Okay.
the bar's probably kind of thin. I imagine this might not be at, like, peak hours.
Mm-hmm.
But Saul's just kind of, like, curled at the bar, like, shoulders hunched, nursing some form of rock gut alcohol that might be, like, 2 steps above toilet wine at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
That's good. Okay, yeah, so I think Kuiper, like, takes the stool next to her. And I think she orders, like, God, what does she order? I think it's, like, whatever the brightest neon drink you can get at this bar is. Like, it's not an appletini, but it's close. It's like bright purple. And I think she just says, so you didn't hear this from me, or you did. I guess it doesn't really matter who you heard it from, but that refugee pack, there are some really, really high profile bounties in there.
So, are you telling this to me because I got a payday coming, or are you telling this to me because I need to look the other way?
I'm telling this to you there's a couple different reasons I'm telling you this. One, I am more than happy to send over a list of names for, a finder's fee. We've done this before. This is, you know the deal. Mm-hmm. Second, there are a couple names on that list where it's sort of either we put them in jail and you get the bounty, or they put me in jail and they get a bounty. So I'm hoping that we can maybe prioritize a couple people on that list.
Yeah, I'd rather you not end up in jail, 'cause that hurts my bottom line. So
I thought it was because you cared.
I mean, I care about you too, but girls gotta eat, girls gotta drink. Can't drink without you. Alright, I'll take a look at that list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll send that over. Yeah. You're here earlier than usual.
I'm here whenever I feel like it.
That's listen. I'm not asked. I don't know. I don't ask questions. It's fine. You do you.
All right.
You know where to find me.
Well, cheers. Bottoms up. And she kind of like holds up her tumbler and then just knocks the rest of it back and then slams the tumbler back on the bar.
Mm-hmm. And I think Kuiper leaves to go do whatever the fuck she does.
Cool.
All right.
So does that count as crisis, time passes, or crossroads?
I think that's probably a crossroads box, just in that, like, I'm pretty firmly throwing my support in on the side of let's take these refugees.
Yep, that sounds legit.
Cool.
Any orders that came from that or anything like that we need to note down?
Let's see. I don't know if specifically, like, prioritizing, like, people's, like, prioritizing certain bounties is in order, or
maybe if we vote to take them in, some of these people are going to have bounties collected on them.
Okay, yeah, that works.
Because that definitely seems like what got decided, so...
Yeah. No, that sounds good. So that goes in under the yes column? Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention part of the thing that you can do when you're a power is you can make orders, which are things that, depending on which decision is made, are actions that need to be taken.
Right. So if yes, certain members of the refugee group will have bounties collected on them. And I guess that's the scene.
Yep.
Awesome. So Jade?
Okay, I am going to be in the hangar bay, or the docking bay, working on another crew's runabout kind of ship, like a small shuttlecraft. I think I've got maybe a member of my crew with me. And the craft that we're repairing is somebody who had a run-in with the Star Marlin assembly. And I think this would work with either Kuiper or with Sol, or both, if people just tend to be around. But I think the scene kind of starts with this, the person whose ship or whose shuttle this is just like, just storming away, like having heard the possible gossip about what's happening, and like Max is on her back, on a like a little dolly, like a little hover dolly, working on something, like I don't know, engines, like the booster on the back or something. And her she's got like a really ratty looking cushion underneath one of her legs because it's in like a full brace from about mid-thigh down. It's got an articulation on it, but yeah, she needs that to get around. So yeah, she's just working on that at the moment, trying to sort of process.
Dora, do you have any preference? Do you want both of them to be there, or
how about Kuiper starts there, and if there is an interesting time for Sol to be a nuisance, she can amble on in.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and I think Kuiper probably heard about this run-in and like went down to not investigate, but like just scope out what's going on.
Sure. I think Max has got like a small radio going, like something playing music as she works. Like she's sort of whistling along to.
So, how long do you think this is going to take?
This, I mean, not that long. If we're talking about this engine, if we're talking about how long that captain you just passed is going to be pissed off, well, that depends on how things go, doesn't it?
I mean, you know, people can be pissed off all they want, but it doesn't change that, you know, I think we could make a good amount of profit off of taking these people in, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. Having loads of extra people in a small confined space that you can't get off easily, that's in no way going to end up in anything bad.
Well, I mean, that's a pessimistic view of things.
That's a realistic view of things, Kuiper.
Okay. Same thing. I'm just saying that...
Yeah.
Listen, if we take the refugees on, then that captain who's pissed off can deal with that personal vendetta themselves, and the rest of us can just get on with our lives and possibly, I want to reiterate, make a shit ton of money off of these people.
Look, I'm not saying they don't have money and that money can't be made if they're here. What I'm saying is, on balance, is it going to be worth it? Like, people making money, that's great. Some people are going to be happier, that's great. Quite frankly, I'm going to be here doing this shit regardless of what happens. So,
well, I mean,
yeah.
You could be doing more. You could be making more money off of them if you wanted to. Listen.
Mm-hmm. You're cute when you're trying to convince me to do something you want me to do. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I'm just saying that you are going to have basically unfettered access to their ships if they end up here.
Yeah. A bunch of ships that are going to be sorely in need of repair.
Well, in need of repair, but, you know, if I were to bring in a damaged ship and you repaired it and gave it back to me, like, how... I wouldn't be able to tell whether it was repaired or stripped for parts or, you know.
Look, I don't get a vote in this. Like, if the higher-ups decide these folks are going to come in, they're going to come in. And I will do what I always do, which is make the best of it and not get enough sleep while I'm trying to deal with the shit that comes with it. Because regardless of the good, there is always going to be shit that comes my way. Believe me, I know. I have to clean out that set of systems as well when they break. I'm not saying I can't make a good thing of it. What I'm saying is people are going to be pissed, Kuiper.
People are always going to be pissed. You're pissed right now. People are going to be pissed. Just think about it.
Mm-hmm. Like, what, you want me to back you on this? Is that what this is?
I mean, a little bit, yeah.
Can I remind you that you owe me a favour right now? And by a favour, I mean I have a list about as long as my arm of shit you owe me.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you trying to collect right now?
No, I'm just saying that... Look, I'll see what I can do about soothing some hurt feelings. Perhaps if I can get this fixed up quick enough, then the captain can be out of here before the Marlin assembly lots show up. I'll see what I can do, alright? But
okay,
I make no promises. You know?
You're the best.
I know.
Okay, I think that has to be seen.
Sure. Alright, I gotta do a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think it's Crossroads. I don't think it doesn't feel like Crisis or like Time Passes.
Mm-mm.
And I need to make et production. If yes, tensions will run higher than usual, and the station will suffer for it. By which I mean just sort of like the toll on the place itself. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think my scene is probably going to be... It's probably going to be in the bridge.
Mm.
Actually, no, it's going to be in Joyopolis. It's going to be Joyopolis. Soul's going to be finding Kuiper.
Yes.
And, Soul probably looks pissed.
Kuiper's playing, like, Time Crisis 5, I think, is what she's playing.
Oh my goodness.
Up to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Soul just kind of stomps up and is seething and is just, I don't know who you told, but there's a group of people out there in my bar saying that they've got a crop of bounties coming in, and I thought we had a deal. I thought you were giving me first pick. I saw that list.
I'm not the only one who knows who's coming in.
Alright. Well.
Other people have access to that info.
Alright. Well. I'm not planning on sharing any of these bounties with any of these fuckwits. So.
Well, I gave the list to you because you're the best one out there. So, I don't know why you're so concerned.
And, Saul just kind of, like, gets this super indignant expression on her face and is like, I'm not concerned. I'm pissed. Because this is... Alright, fine. You know what? That's fine. I'm gonna deal with this, and we're gonna see what happens, but it's gonna be bad. I'm telling you this right now. It's gonna be bad, because there's gonna be all of these vultures all over these people. And,
I mean, you have to be... Isn't that how bounty hunting works? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually there's more than one person after a given bounty, right? Like,
yeah, and there's a whole stellar system out there, and yeah, we compete, but this is gonna be like having a bunch of, I don't know, Wolverines competing over a single scrap of meat in a barrel.
Well, then you just have to be the fastest Wolverine. I don't know what to tell you.
It's fine. You don't have to tell me anything about doing my own damn job, but just try to keep a tighter wrap on who's on that passenger manifest, because otherwise it's going to get ugly. It's going to get real ugly.
Listen, I mean, if I keep too tight a lid on info, then people are going to start investigating my ass, and then you're out of a job. So, cut me some slack here.
All right. Well, I've said my piece. I think we're done here. You enjoy that, and Saul just like shakes her head and storms off. And I think that scene.
Does she punch any gaming machines on her way out and break them?
Yes, she punches. She punches. Oh shit! What's a good game? There's bound to be like a Dance Dance Revolution 58 in there somewhere, and so she punches that, and one of the screens will flicker, so it won't be useful.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So
I love it.
Because I'm Touchstone, I get a special privilege. I'm going to say that is moving us toward the crossroads, to be sure. But that's one of the crossroads, to be sure. But I also think that public opinion is not doing so great right now, and so we are also moving toward a crisis with this. So next up is Han.
Right, because we keep going until we resolve the crossroad, right? That's the deal?
Yeah, we keep going until we resolve any of them, so if...
Okay.
somehow the next 3 scenes are all crises, then we'd resolve the crisis.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Does anyone have any ideas or conversations they want to have?
I'm not sure about Max, but like we can always throw NPCs in. And
right.
Just, like if we need to, like if we want to like search something out in fiction, like we can always bounce that.
Yeah.
Something I think maybe worth looking into is Max brought up some of this, do we have the supplies to take these folks on temporarily, or is this going to completely fuck up everything? So it may be worth like having a scene with a quartermaster or something like that, at least involved. So may I suggest maybe like Kuiper and Max and NPC quartermaster talking about the logistics of taking these folks on?
Sure, sounds good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So maybe up on the in the main bridge.
Yeah, I think the bridge would make sense. And I'm having a hard time not just picturing a Star Trek bridge, but I'm gonna try my best.
I imagine it more like I kind of feel like it's just because bowling alleys always have really shitty lighting and shitty carpet. And I just kind of have that kind of visual of those kinds of brightly coloured bars with chipping paint and just like screens everywhere.
God, that's really good.
That's really good.
That's incredible. Okay. Yeah, so I think like Kuiper's at like the communication station. And like this isn't necessarily the main communication hub, but it's like a place where she can access that info. And I guess this nameless quartermaster and Max are like standing over her shoulder, like looking at these like lists of people and resources coming in. Dora, do you have an idea for who this quartermaster is?
Yeah, I'm trying to let me go to a name generator really quick, but I do have an idea for who this quartermaster might be, and I'm thinking vaguely, like Scotty from Star Trek, but a lady.
Okay. Yes,
because we're doing.
Oh, what about Kristen Vangsness, who plays Garcia on Criminal Minds, like with the long blonde hair and the always brightly coloured glasses and clothes? Like, she's...
Oh yes, that's.
I've had a crush on her for like 10 years. Like,
no, that's perfect.
So oh, did we say what everybody looks like? Like our characters?
I don't know if we did.
I don't know either. So, Han, you describe what Kuiper looks like.
I mean, I do have this very specific picture of Kristen Stewart, but it's Kristen Stewart at her butchest and grimiest. And just like when she just looks like the shittiest person.
It's delightful.
Max is basically Gina Rodriguez in Annihilation, like with that cropped, like with the buzz cut on the sides and the hair like pulled up in a tiny little ponytail, like tattoos down the side of her head, like chipped nail varnish, grimy as fuck, tank top, tool belt around the waist, always. So there's always something in there. Actually, I think you kind of, as it starts, you see her like rifling through one of these pouches on her tool belt, and she just slaps like a stim patch on one arm and pulls out some gum and just starts chewing gum really fast.
Okay.
Beautiful. So I don't have a face claim for Saul, but she's kind of like built like a brick house. She's broad and muscled and tends to wear like biker black leather all the time and has close cropped hair, dark hair, dark eyes, kind of brown skin, and yeah, she's very gruff, and she's not grimy though. Unless she's been in a bar fight, in which case she's probably got bruises, maybe a rakish cut over one eyebrow, that kind of thing. I'm not playing somebody who's my type at all.
Absolutely not.
So I think The quartermaster is going to be Kat Zimke, and
Yes.
she looks like the character from Criminal Minds, but is very much more a Scotty personality, and she's just kind of like got a grim look on her face, and it's like, I'm running the numbers, Commander. I'm running the numbers, Commander Jasko, and this is, unless they're willing to give us a hefty portion of their supplies, I don't know how we're gonna make this work without having everybody be on an absolute shoestring ration plan.
Oh yeah, that always goes so great for morale as well. One more reason for everyone to be pissed about these guys showing up. Great.
Yeah. So, okay. So what you're telling me is that we do have the resources to take them on.
That is not what I said, ma'am.
Okay,
I
it's
said-
really... Okay, side note, it's really throwing me off when you call me ma'am. Please do not do that. Do I look
That's
like a
in
ma'am
character.
to you?
That's in character laughing.
You look like a superior officer that I don't want to piss off, so I will call you Queen of the Universe if that's what it takes for you to both A, not try to kill me, and B, well, listen to what I'm saying.
Listen, I am 100% listening, and what I'm hearing is that it would be hard and bad, but we can do it.
Look, like, have we got anybody in the sector that we could try and divert a supply line here to try and take the weight off? Is there anybody nearby?
I mean, I'm sure we could find someone.
Is
I
there...
mean,
We could kick them some cred for showing up. Like, I'm sure there's somebody making a delivery to a nearby settlement that could be persuaded to come here.
So, okay, so here's the thing. There is a teeny tiny little Unisol contingent in the vicinity that we could take on if we needed to. Don't give me that noise.
I'll give you a noise I see fit.
Just
Alright. Alright. If there is a source of supplies, if they can give us what they've got, if we can quote-unquote persuade someone to go knock over a Unisol frigate, then I can rerun these numbers and see what we've got.
I mean,
Okay.
if we're able to take like one of them whole, I could get the scrubber off it. Like, we could try add to the bank that we got, try and replace some stuff. I could try and do something with the water recyclers.
So I'm hearing a yes.
I'm saying if you are desperate to get these people in here, then you're going to need to do something first.
Sold. Done. Okay.
That feels like Satan,
Okay.
if you're
Yeah.
cool with it. That's
Yep.
a nice sort of like stamp on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Ugh,
All right.
I love Kuiper.
Kuiper's so
I love
good.
her.
She sucks.
It's
Okay.
great.
Crossroads or Crisis?
This feels like a crossroads.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the order is that I think it's just if yes, if yes, then we have to, or I don't know if that's an order. I think it's
Well, I think we just kind of established in fiction that we're going to have to bloody the nose of Unisol to pull this off.
Right.
I think that's the order.
So I don't think that's an order because that would go the other, like, it's a different direction. Okay, so I don't think that there's an order in there.
Okay.
Any
prediction?
No, I don't think so. Can I make predictions when it's not my scene anyway? Can I do them as a reaction? I can't remember.
I think... Let me double check. I think that you can.
I think it's when you're in a scene.
Yeah, because I think it's only Touchstone that can do stuff when it's not their scene. Unless you're challenging, in which case it's a bit different. So...
Okay.
Hey, we filled up a card.
Yeah.
Cool. So...
Resolving a crossroad.
Yeah.
Yep. So when we fill up the number of boxes on a particular thing, either crossroad, crisis, or time passes, we have to resolve it. And in order to resolve it, we kind of ask some questions and sort of describe how things go down. So the first thing that we need to do when we resolve a crossroad, we need to decide if this is the end of the game. And I think that we all want to see what happens from here, so...
Definitely.
Yep. The next thing is to set the stage, so we kind of sketch out what's about to happen, basically. So we're at a situation where we've established that we potentially have the capability, but we're going to need to not make some concessions, but kind of go out of our way to make this work.
Yeah.
And then it's up to the power or powers to decide which way we go on the crossroads.
So we currently only have stuff in the yes column. And I think and like currently in the yes column, if yes, certain members of the refugee group will have bounties collected on them and tensions will run higher than usual and the station will suffer for it. I think I am gonna go with yes though.
Hell yes.
I think because like even though tensions will run high in like the people lower down like the ring of command, the people who have the authority to like allow these refugees in want to strengthen this as an alliance, and so are going to go with the yes option here.
Yep, that sounds legit. So the next thing that we have to do is we have to resolve certain things. So in doing so, we need to resolve first the orders that were given by the power. So I think we only have one of those, correct?
Yeah, and that's the one about bounties, and I think that definitely happens for sure.
Yep, because they're desperate and they need a place to lick their wounds, so they're willing to give up a couple of people for the greater good.
Yep.
Then next we resolve predictions from our perspectives. So it's like, do you think that the prediction is still relevant? And then how does that prediction play out?
The prediction was if yes, tensions will run higher than usual and the station will suffer for it. That definitely still happens. I think that crew that had the run-in with them was still there when it showed up. I think fights started kicking off and there was a significant amount of damage done to some of the station, and like Max and her crew running ragged trying to deal with it, and that the resources that might have gone into like amping up the water recyclers or the oxygen scrubbers have had to be put on hold because they're having to like patch up something more important because somebody got thrown through a wall and ruptured a line or something.
Nice.
Okay.
And then we do the popular reaction from the touchstone, and I think honestly like the popular reaction is essentially what's already been described. I think the stockades are a bit fuller than normal because you have more fights breaking out. And I definitely think that some of those fights are either instigated or ended by Sol trying to do her job.
Sure.
And then the next part is reflection, which is where we go through our character and kind of, make sure of where we're at, if our bonds have changed, if our wish or fear has changed, that kind of thing. So starting with Han.
Okay. So Kuiper's wish, which I think is going to stay the same, is I wish the kingdom would take on riskier jobs where pirates were in this for the cash and the glory and there's no point in caution. I think that is still very much in effect.
Okay. And any change to your bonds at all?
I don't think so. No, they seem still legit.
For Max, her fear is this place is held together with spot words, duct tape, and hope. My fear is that one of those is going to run out sooner rather than later. Oh, yep, that's still the fear. We're just going to fill up this bottle and screw on the lid and shake it a couple of times. Be fine, I'm sure.
It'll be fine. It's great.
I kind of want to change. I feel like something in my bond with Kuiper's got to shift a little. Just because it's just like, this isn't like you owe me big time or you didn't make good on what you owe me. I'm not quite sure what I want to change it to.
Right.
So
I kind of like the being like you owe me big time, in that like I don't think we ever really established like that Max was like cashing in on something.
Yeah. Okay, so Kuiper owes me big for supporting her.
And I'll just add I owe her big time to my bond.
Yeah. And I've got, Kuiper owes me big for supporting her. Because we know what that's about. It's just like,
Yeah.
something that could definitely come into play. Flower shower. Sol.
And we checked time pass. Oh, wait. Right, yes. It's you.
Yeah. So, Sol's fear is, I fear the kingdom will collapse under the weight of people who can't see past what's right in front of their noses. And I think that's still true. I think that she, because she's kind of in touch with what the popular opinion is, like, this is a short-sighted decision, and this could ultimately be bad, even though she was excited about it at first because, money. I don't think her bonds change at all. There's no easy way to just kind of, indicate that being integral to the livelihood is kind of soured a little bit, but I mean the bond is still effectively the same. Alright, and I've checked time passes, so that means we start on the next round. So I think we start with Jade this time. Oh, nope, we have to determine our crossroads. We had a couple of ideas for crossroads coming into this, and I think the one that most definitely fits based on what we just discussed is, will the kingdom spend some of its limited person power to attack the Unisol?